Hello everybody, I'm Ilron and today I'm looking at Orcs Must Die Unchained. I thought I'd take a little bit of a unique look on some of the survival Rift Lord levels. In particular, I'm interested in knowing what traps are effective on each level. I thought that might be useful for others to know what types of traps they might want to use. So since I'm level 100 and I have tier 7 traps, this is obviously easy for me. I'm going to handicap myself some to help figure out which traps are the best. And so the handicap I'm going to use is not doing hero damage to things that cost rift points. So I can only do hero damage to mercenaries and to hunters, and the rest of the damage has to be done by the traps. And the goal then is to figure out which set of traps might make this possible. It's actually fairly difficult even with tier 7 traps. So let's take a look at the traps that I'm using. I've tried a lot of different combinations, and this is the best one that I've found. The bass is sort of unique in a way because there aren't that many good trap locations right by the entrance, and if you want to get 5 stars, you have to put traps by the entrance. Boom Barrel Roller is something that actually ends up being pretty useful in this level because there are a lot of places to put it near the minion spawn point. Arcane Bowling Ball is also good. So I'm going to use Boom Barrel Roller as as my kind of filler trap. It's the one that I spam whenever I have more coin. I'll be using braided coils in it and stamped parts. Since I'm using a lot of them, I'll use stamped parts. If I was using a few of them, I would use the whatever the other part is. Subsidized parts. Subsidized parts gives you some coin at the beginning. For Arcane Bowling Ball, since I'm only going to be using 2 of them, subsidized parts is actually more beneficial. I'm using double spring with Arcane Bowling Ball again because I'm using 2. I don't mind the cost increase and I'd rather have the damage since I'm going to be damaging a large area of minions. I'm using fire resonators instead of controlled because I won't be controlling the minions 100% of the time, and I will be using a lot of fire traps. Floor Scorcher is the standard part of the build. Again, using fire resonators, heat activated triggers. And here I'm using Charging Spring because double spring doesn't really make your traps more cost effective, or at least not much more cost effective, but Charging Spring does because it doesn't increase the cost. So I'll be using that here because I'm cost sensitive. I need a way of dealing with runners, in particular the earth elementals, and so I've tried different things, and Brimstone works pretty well. Again, using Charging Spring to avoid the cost increase of the trap, and fire resonators. I'm using Big Game Hunting Ballistas, pretty standard. Charging Spring again. Subsidized parts because I'm not using very many of them. And Debilitation Resonator. The Resonator doesn't really matter that much, but that's the one I picked. Viscous Tar, of course. I think that's it. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. So I could make this a little bit easier if I picked Max because he has trap discounts, but I'm going to make it a bit more challenging by picking Midnight. So we have BGH Ballista, Arcane Bowling Ball. To deal with runners, again we have the Brimstone. And what do we want this to be? Right, Boom Barrel Roller on this one. So for traits, I'm using Ultimate Set of Tools to get the trap damage. That's key for this type of challenge. And then the rest of them are just trap discounts. Smashing deals to make the physical traps cheaper. And then the 2 coin generator traits. I could use Fire Sale to make the fire traps cheaper since I'm using a lot of fire traps, but I don't actually have that trait, so I won't be using it. Let's get started. Alright, here we are on the baths.
Never see me coming.
At the beginning here, we're going to focus on using very cost-efficient, in other words, cheap traps. The exception here is the viscous tar, because I'm using a lot of traps here at the entrance. Even though the tar is kind of expensive, it's going to be worth it. Here I'm going to stagger these boom barrel rollers. 1, 2, 3. Then I'll put the outer ones. And I'm putting 3 floor spikes here because they're kind of valuable right after a viscous tar. And these ones here are less valuable, so I'm going to just put 2 at a time.
The enemy has opened a minion portal.
They've broken through a gate!
So we'll just keep putting out the floor spikes. We've got to kill these hunters.
Lure them here. Let them come.
I'll get ready to kill these hunters just so I don't waste any time. Now I want to get my arcane bowling balls going. And get some floor scorchers going.
Carefully set.
I really want to put up some more of these boom barrel rollers. And before the next level, I have to remember to put up some BGH ballistas to take care of the rift. That looks like a good spot.
I can taste their blood already.
An unstable rift is opening. It must be destroyed. And our heroes destroyed the unstable rift. And
That's
there
no
was
big deal.
much rejoicing.
Alright, next up I'm gonna widen my lane a little bit here. Okay, that's not exactly what I wanted, but that's alright.
Lure them here. This will be their moment.
We gotta go pick up this coin. I need to start putting out some BGH ballistas here.
Building a better mouse.
The reason I need those is on wave 8, I'm gonna have a boss, Gaiden. for Gaiden, something. He's gonna have a bunch of rock dudes that I have to deal with.
It's possible to be more sure.
So I want 4 of these, ideally. I'm gonna start putting in some brimstones because the rock dudes are coming out wave 8. Here I got mercenary, I'm allowed to kill those. So it's the dwarf.
The shadows into the light. If I were them, I'd tread lightly. Let them come.
Well, that was a little bit awkward. Okay, so we need to finish out this brimstone.
Carefully set.
The boss minion has entered the battlefield.
Useful.
Boss should die. Those 4 BGH ballistas should take him out.
An unstable rift is opening. Destroy it.
Boss minion defeated.
And then let's see what happens to these rocks.
Useful.
Well done. The unstable rift has been destroyed.
Ooh, that was close.
Building a better mouse. Orc trap. If I were them, I'd tread lightly. This will be their end. Carefully set.
Doesn't really matter what talents I pick.
Commune with the darkness.
I'm gonna go sell this if I can.
Let them come. This will stop them. Lure them here.
Now I'm mostly just gonna fill in boom barrel rollers.
Wait till I get my paws on them now. I can taste their blood already. This will be their end.
Once you get up about 65 traps, pretty much the build is
Unstable
done.
rift is opening. Quick, destroy it. We have destroyed the unstable rift.
Ooh, that'd be my first step on the end.
Yep, so this is pretty much it. This is the end.
Watch out! An
Everything
unstable
should
rift
be
is
taken
opening.
care of
Get
automatically
to it
now.
and destroy it.
I'm gonna go ahead and put out a couple more BGHs. They're not really necessary, but
Well done.
maybe it'll make it go a
Unstable
little bit
rift
faster. We should just be able to watch the end of the game. I don't know if I mentioned, the reason I just put 2 tars is because that's good enough to hit everything. And the reason I'm putting 3 of other stuff is so I can get more damage. Minions that walk along the crack here can get hit by both of these traps, which is good.
A boss is on its way.
Bull guys is just gonna get blasted.
The boss minion has been taken down.
I'm generally not a big fan of brimstones, but the only reason I really have them here is
Guess
for the
that
runners.
lasts last.
I guess I could have replaced them with something else once they serve their purpose, because there aren't any more rock guys. Let's see, I should be able to get, I think I'm going to have 10 or 15 seconds left.
In the end, I always
That's it. So if we look at the stats here, interestingly, 358 trap kills and non-trap is 189. I'm not sure what that means exactly. It wasn't hero kills, obviously. It wasn't environmental kills either. Maybe some of the traps don't count as trap kills. Maybe the boom barrel rollers don't count as trap kills. Since they're not technically traps, maybe the barrels aren't counted as trap kills. In any case, there we go. We did 9 seconds to spare with 5 stars on the baths, and then I'll be taking a look at some of the other maps and see if we can do something similar there and figure out what the best set of traps are. Thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you next time.